Third time's a charm, right? Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to Unusually Horrid. If you're new here, I hope you like cosplay and makeup and spooky things and crafts, because that's what we do here at Unusually Horrid. If you're not new, welcome back. This is the third time I have tried to film this video. So the first time it was just like a complete hot mess. I totally forgot to put on my eyelashes. I really didn't like the way my eye makeup had turned out in the first place. My lights were dying every 2 minutes. The white grease paint I used was atrocious. Also all of the close-ups for that were like a total nightmare as well. So I was like, okay, no, I'm just gonna refilm it. It's gonna be fine. So I refilmed it, right? And it was fine. It went really nice. I was actually really happy with the way everything had turned out. And I saved my audio file under 2 different names. And when I was closing out of my tabs, I didn't save the right one. So I had no audio. And I thought about doing a voiceover, but honestly, it wasn't the kind of quality I wanted to put out this week. So here we are, filming this a third time. So here we go. Wish me luck. Third time's a charm. Let's jump into this. I'm gonna get my hair out of my way. So my hair's like kind of green right now because like that's how color theory works, right? So my hair underneath here is yellow. This is a blue base black. After it fading a few times, it looks pretty green. So every time I've done this makeup and like taken my wig off, I'm like, please tell me why I look like the Joker in Harley's makeup. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, let's start things off, shall we? Today I'm starting off with my NYX Pore Filler Primer. I'm like, filming this should be pretty easy, right? Because this is literally the third time I've done it, so like, I know what I'm doing. The funny thing is this whole video was gonna be like, oh, a makeup test. We'll see what things I can fix. And then at the Halloween party, you'll see like the whole shebang, right? But at this point, no, this is just gonna be a straight up tutorial because at this point, I know what I'm doing. I know exactly where I'm going with this. So yeah. Okay, that's nice and smooth. So just really quick, this is my reference photo. It's the same reference photo I used for my wig. This is her most like basic, like iconic makeup look from the movie. There's some other scenes where she has like a more glittery moment or whatever, but it's not really with this outfit, and I just wanted to keep it pretty simple. So we're gonna jump in and start with my brows. Now, if you've seen my videos, you know I like to do a masquerade mask looking type moment with my concealer to prep my brows and my eyelids for my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna jump right into that. For my concealer, you know it's gonna be e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. And in this trial run, I actually get to use this beauty blender. I had actually filmed that video way after I had filmed this one the second time. So that's how my week's been. Okay, so I know I hyped this camo concealer sponge up in the video that I got it in, but honestly, I'm really happy that I got it. It's so like bouncy, and the texture of it, like, this is a really heavy concealer and it can be a little bit of a challenge to blend it out, and just chef's kiss. I just love this. Also, I've been changing up my skincare routine a little bit to address the like patchy dryness. And it's only been a few days, but I'm already seeing a difference. So hopefully by like, that was me realizing I'm going on vacation, which means any effort I ever had to make my skin look nice is probably gonna go out the window. Boo! Anyway, we'll see if I can keep my skincare routine up while I am in California. Who knows? I'll try. But it has been looking a lot better recently. Anyway, let's jump into these brows. So in my reference picture here, you can see her brows are a little bit bushy and wild, so I will be filling them in with my Profusion black gel liner from this old lovely palette that I got for Christmas many years ago. And I will also be kind of brushing them out and shaping them into a little bit more of a messy look with my Control Freak from NYX. Okay, so as per usual with my brows, I'm going in with this lovely flat tip brush here and my black gel liner from my Profusion eye palette. Okay, that brow's looking a little too put together, so let's dishevel it a little bit with this Control Freak. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to this brow now. Okay. As you can see, both brows are done. I'm gonna do a quick pass over my eyelids really quick to make sure there's no creasing before I get into my eyeshadow. And today's palette, I will be using the Morphe X Jeffree Star because there's a really nice gray and black in that palette, and I'll be using a combination of the two of those to get her little smoky eye. Okay, so my lids are prepped, and I'll be going in with Vroom Vroom, which is this gray shade right here. And I'm just going in with this little fluffy brush right here. And I'm going over the lash line area and I'm taking it up into a bit of a half crease. Now I'm taking that same brush with the little bit of pigment that it has on it to just blend this out. Ooh, you know what movie I really want to watch right now? Death Becomes Her. I haven't watched that in a hot minute. I'm gonna see if I can rent that on Amazon. That movie is so funny. If you haven't seen it, it's Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep, and Bruce Willis, and it's a horror comedy. It's really good. You should totally check it out. Okay, so from here I'm going in with shade, whatever the heck this is called. What is it? Okay, so from here I'm going in with shade Fast Lane, which looks like a little bit of a hot mess right now, but whatever. And I'm using the same fluffy brush that I used for my gray shadow. Now I'm taking the black along the lash line as well, and just sort of in this area, just to give it a little bit more of a smoked out vibe. And taking that same brush to blend that in as well. So now I'm taking a bigger fluffy brush that has no pigment on it to blend these two together. Okay, so from here, as far as eyeshadow goes, I'm just gonna pop a highlight in the inner corner and the brow bone, using my favorite tiny brush for that. And I will be going in with shade Welcome. Now I'm taking this same fluffy brush here to blend in my highlight a little bit. Alright, so that's it as far as the eyeshadow element of this look. We're going to move on to liner now. Of course, I'm going in first with my white crayon from NYX and just quickly doing my waterline. And now time for me to move into territory that I am not great with, but I am willing to make an exception for cosplays. But I'm getting into pencil eyeliner territory. This one is a nice, like, you know, one of the twisty ones. I find personally these ones are a little bit easier for me to work with. So I'm gonna be taking this along the top of my lash line here and smudging it into my eyeshadow. And then I'll be taking it just under my lash line and smudging that as well to give this a nice smudgy, smoky looking effect. So since this is the third time I've filmed this, I know that whatever reason, this gets like, it has a certain smudging point. It needs to be like right after it's been put on where it's still like warm enough from like the friction. Because if you wait too long, it's really hard to smudge out. So I'm going to be doing this in tiny little sections. Alright, so I've got that going on my lash line. Now for my waterline down here. Again, working in small sections to make sure it smokes out nicely. Alright, so that's all the eyeliner that I'm doing with this. In the pictures that I looked at, it didn't really seem like she had a predominant wing, so I'm not going to do one. If I'm wrong, oh well. It's, again, screen accuracy has never been my like main point for this. It's my Halloween costume. However, this is just what I'm going off based from the reference photos. Anyway, I'm going to jump into getting my lash on for this side, and then, you know, I'll go and do the rest of this off camera to save a little bit of time. For my lashes, I'm using Ardell's Mega Volume Lashes. I'm also going to just prep them really quick with Big Ego from Tarte. So for my lash glue, I'm using Duo's Quick Set Adhesive. And like I said, I have my Mega Volume Lashes from Ardell here. And we're just going to apply that glue. And like, this is a quick set, so it doesn't need to get tacky after 30 seconds. It's kind of good after about 4 or 5. But this is a heavy lash, so I'm gonna get this nice and coated. Okay, and I suck at putting lashes on camera, so pray for me. Okay, so now that I have my lash on, I'm gonna pop off camera and get this side done. Okay, so as you can see, both of my eyes are done. Now it's time to move into the rest of the face. So, obviously Harley Quinn is like very pale and like very white. So I'm going to start off by doing a little bit of color correcting with this color corrector that I bought the other day. Now, in the other 2 videos that I attempted to film for this, I didn't do this, and I always felt like my skin was just a little bit, so I'm gonna try this today. Hopefully it makes it look a little bit nicer, and if I hate it, I just won't do it on Halloween. Anyway, I'm gonna get this on, mostly focusing just on these like breakout areas. So from here, I'm going in again with my camo concealer from e.l.f. to make more of a neutral tone base. Now I'm going in again with their little beauty sponge here. I'm like slowly just absolutely falling madly in love with the sponge. It's the little things, people. It's the little things. Okay, so now my base is a much more even tone, and I'm going to be jumping in with... Okay, so from here I'm going in with e.l.f.'s Flawless Satin Foundation, and this is in shade Pearl, which is one of their lightest shades, and I'm just going in with a light layer to make everything nice and even, and then I'll be going over that with a like white cream makeup. Okay, so now that that base is done, I'm going in with this palette from Spirit Halloween. I got this palette last year when I was cosplaying Marshall from Animal Crossing for PAX, because it had like the pink, which was perfect for his cheeks, and he's like a white squirrel, so, you know, using the white again, if I can figure out how to open this. Okay, so when I was doing my little trial and error, it really helped for me to like take a chunk out of this and put it like here. That way I wasn't risking getting any black or pink onto my beauty blender. So I'm just gonna take the back of my fingernail and kind of take a chunk and set it back here. This stuff definitely smells like Halloween. Like I'm having flashbacks to like young 90s Nikki getting like dressed up in like green face paint to be a witch or something. Okay, so from here I'm going to take my finger and kind of get into the little cream makeup here a little bit to highlight under my eyes a little bit and on my nose, and then I'm going to blend that in with the concealer blender. Okay, so now we definitely need to set this look. I'm going to be using two different powders today to set under my eye and sort of bake a little bit. I'll be using Mirabella's Perfecting Powder. And then for the rest, I'm just going to use my like NYX powder that I've been using for like the past month or so. And I'm taking this blender right here. Okay, so for my next setting powder, like I said, I'm using NYX's HD Finishing Powder, and I'll just be using the other side of this beauty blender. So now that I've set that in with my blender, I'm going to take my kabuki brush and dip into the same powder and just do the same thing with a brush, I guess. I don't know, I just like to set it twice like this. I feel like it just preps it really nicely for the powders that go on top, like my contour and my highlight. Okay, so now for my contour, I'm going back in with the same Morphe X Jeffree palette, and I will be using that same Vroom Vroom shade to get just like a nice gray contour. And the way I'm gonna do this, because it's going to be like, it's gonna look really dark at first, but I'm gonna buff it in with this, and then I'll be going over it again with my beauty blender and my setting powder, which some people call lacing. I don't know if that's the correct term, but basically I'll just be going over the contour to make it look more like a shadow. I'm also just gonna tap this onto my hand before putting it directly onto my face. And just very lightly swirling this on. Because this is a gray contour, I just really want to be as light-handed as possible so that I'm not working twice as hard to break through and blend that. Now before I go back over it with my beauty blender, I am going to buff it out first with my kabuki brush. So now that that's blended in, you can tell it looks a little bit more like a shadow, less like a streak. And I'm just gonna do the same thing obviously on this side and sort of the same thing on my nose as well as under my lip. Okay, so I'm done with my contour. I'm gonna move on to blush now. So all of my personal blushes are really like bronzy and shimmery, so I'm going to just be using some pinks from this palette here. Kind of just a combination of these here because they're all matte. And I'm taking my big fluffy brush and just kind of dipping into these colors and then dabbing that on the back of my hand so it's not super obnoxious, and then just really lightly just on the apples of my cheeks, doing a little bit of pink blush that I'm gonna lace over here in a second, just to add a little bit of color to her cheeks. Because, you know, she's running around being an action star, she's a little flushed. Okay, so from here, I'm going to just use my Diamond Fire highlight from Too Faced. And I'm just gonna pop on a quick highlight before we go in for a close-up for her face tattoos. Okay, I'm just gonna bring you in for a close-up now. Okay, so I've brought you in nice and close now so we can do a little heart here and then the word rotten here. Okay, so I have some eyeliner here that a friend gave to me. I think it's from Unique. I don't know anything about this makeup brand, but she gifted it to me. But it seems like it's really easy to draw with, so I'm gonna try this out. So I'm just going to start with the heart on her cheek right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go over that with a layer of black eyeshadow from my palette, just to kind of set it, kind of like you would use a setting powder. I used to do this with my eyeliner all the time, back before I found an eyeliner that actually had some pigment in it. So I'm gonna use this tiny brush right here to just fill this in with black pigment. Okay, also just, here's the thing, real talk for a second. For Halloween night, I actually do have face tattoos that I'm definitely gonna use. And then I have like a whole booklet that has like all her tattoos. So I'm gonna be like decked out in that, but I'm saving that for Halloween. Also, it's not necessarily realistic to just plan to have tattoos all the time, like the fake tattoos, because it was like $6 for that packet. Now, am I gonna go out and get $6 worth of tattoos every time I wanna do Harley? No. So I do wanna get in the practice of being able to do her makeup with freehand. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into Rotten, and every time I've tried to do this, it winds up being super straight instead of angled. You know what? If it's straight today, just bear with me, you get the picture, but I'm going to try and get it as angled as I possibly can. It's gonna be a lot easier on Halloween, obviously, when I can just place it, put a beauty blender on it, you know, a moist beauty blender, and call it a day. With that being said, let's jump into this. So the tattoo in my pack has like these two dots on either side of the word rotten, so I'm just gonna do it like that. I'm going off the licensed tattoo. The real challenge here too is that I have to write this backwards. So far so good. Okay, I kind of flubbed it on the end there, but you get the picture. Anyway, from this lovely angle, I think we have the perfect point of view to do my lipstick. So in all the reference pictures I've sort of looked like, she has kind of like a lip ombre going on, where it's definitely lined in a darker red and filled in with a lighter color. Now, I don't really have a light red. I do have a bright orange though, and when I've done two, obviously, like I said a million times, this is my third time filming this. In the first one, I used my lightest shade of red with this Diva by MAC, and it like worked, but it all sort of blended together. And when I used the orange in the middle, I actually got the look that I felt like I was going for. So I'll be lining it with Diva by MAC and filling it in with Girl Crush from Half Caked Cosmetics. Okay, so I'm going in with Diva from MAC. Okay, so I have my layer of dark red. I'm going in with that orange shade now. Okay, so I've kind of blotted a bit to make that blend, and I am happy with the way that that ombre looks. Okay. So one final detail before I give you guys a look of what this whole thing looks like finally with the wig. I do need to put mascara on my bottom lashes before I forget. Okay, so I am gonna go track down my wig cap and I will do my outro in my wig so you guys can finally get a taste of what this is gonna look like all together. Okay, so I grabbed my wig cap, but I wanted to show you guys first before I put on the wig, because I told you that with my hair being so green around my hairline, I look like I'm the Joker trying to cosplay Harley. And yeah, that's like all I can see every time I take the wig off. I'm like, I look like the Joker. Okie dokie, I'm gonna go grab that wig and you guys can finally see what it looks like on. Ta-da! Okay, now you finally get to see what the wig looks like on. Again, unless you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, then you've already seen everything. Except for, you know, like all the tattoos, which I will be wearing right here on this channel at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Halloween night for our live Halloween party right here in Unusually Horrid. And tomorrow, Halloween day, you will get the full costume reveal. That video is going to be quite a bit shorter than the rest of the content I have made for you this month, but honestly, I've been making 20-minute plus videos for you all month. You guys will probably be thankful for like a 9-minute video that you don't have to sit through. So, join in tomorrow, Halloween day. Come visit me for the full costume reveal. Please come visit me at 7 p.m. Pacific time, live Halloween party right here on Unusually Horrid. And yes, thank you for watching my Harley Quinn makeup journey. I'm so, like, if uploading or something doesn't work for this, just, like, cry tears with me. But keep your fingers crossed, third time's a charm, right? Right? Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good life. I'll see you tomorrow, Halloween day, Unusually Horrid out. Okay, bye!